stretch through the hips. So if you'll join me on your mat, we're going to start in a standing position, feet under the hip bones, roll the shoulders up, back, and down, find length through the spine all the way up to the crown of the head. Close your eyes if you like, bringing your focus to your breath and to your body. Good, you can begin to open up the eyes. And we're going to step the feet just a little bit wide. We're going to bring the hands to the hips, and we're just going to start to roll the hips around in circles. You can start a little small, and then as it feels okay to, you can make bigger circles with the hips. Go ahead and move forward and back as it feels okay to. Wakening up those hips a little, all the muscles around the hip bones. Good, we're going to switch directions, going the other way, starting kind of small, and then getting bigger with the circles, adding some movement with the torso. Good. Coming back to center, we're going to inhale the arms up, and then we're going to exhale, hinging at the hips, reaching for opposite elbows. We're just going to allow the torso to hang here in this wide leg forward fold. Feeling a bit of a stretch through the backs of the legs. Allowing gravity to use the weight of our torso. We're going to release our right hand down to the left foot, and then we're going to center our hips back up. We can keep the left hand on the hip, or we can reach it up to the ceiling. Good, we're going to bring that left hand down, and we're going to start to walk it over to the right foot. Right hand to the hip, or up to the ceiling. Make sure that you center the hips back up to center. Good, draw the right hand down. Walk the hands back to center. Press evenly through the hands and the feet. The hands are stacked relatively underneath the shoulders. Good. We're going to roll onto the balls of the feet, pulling the heels in just a little bit, finding a bend through the knees as we roll up. Arms come up over, head reaching up to the corners of the room, find length through the spine, hold here and take a few breaths. On the next exhale, bring the hands down to the sides. We're going to heel toe the feet back underneath those hip bones. And I'm going to turn to the side here. We're going to drop the tailbone down into our chair pose. Make sure you keep the pelvis tucked. We just don't want to create a big arch through the back and stick the booty way up. So being mindful, tucking the pelvis just slightly, pulling the belly button in and up, we'll do that as well. Keep the heart lifting up and bring the hands forward. Here we're just gonna warm up the feet and the ankles, pedaling out the feet a little bit. Keep breathing here. Rotate those pinkies in. Flip the palms if you'd like. Good. We're going to try and come onto both balls of the feet. Coming up onto the toes. One more breath. Slowly roll back to the heels. Straighten through the legs. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Reaching for the floor. Release the head, let it hang heavy. Inhale, flat back. Find length through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. We're gonna bend the knees and plant the hands, stepping the feet back. We're gonna draw those shoulder blades down the back, pulling the belly button in and up, and then we're gonna lower down to chaturanga. Hold here for 1 breath, and then press up through cobra or sphinx. Take a breath here. Really allow the body to soften down towards the floor, the pelvis, the legs, pressing through the hands. Make sure all the weight's not going right into the wrists, that you're pressing evenly through the palms and fingertips. Good, we're gonna press through the hands, lifting the tailbone up and walking the knees under the hip bones. Taking a cat-cow flow here. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhale, rounding through. 4 times. Last one. Coming back to our tabletop position, we're gonna tuck the toes and we're just gonna lift the knees to a hover. From here, we're gonna step that right foot back and then back to a hover. Keep the elbows spiraling in. For 3, 2, 1. Good, drop the knees back to the mat. Bring the big toes together, knees outside of hip bones, and come back to a child's pose. Inhale, lift the gaze, shift that weight forward. Bring the knees under the hips. We're going to tuck those toes again. Bringing the knees back to a hover. Make sure those elbows are spiraling in. And we're gonna do the same thing left side, stepping the foot back and then bringing it back to a hover. Three, 2, 1. Drop the knees. Bring the big toes together. Take the knees a little wider. We're gonna inhale that right arm up, and we're gonna thread it through as we sink the hips back for a child's pose variation. We're gonna inhale, coming back up. This time we're gonna lift that left arm up, and we're gonna thread it through as we sink the hips back again. Inhale, start to shift that weight forward. Knees come under the hips. Tops of the feet come behind the knees. We're gonna tuck the toes and press up into our first downward facing dog. Take a nice big breath in, and then a nice big exhale out through the mouth. Good. We're gonna lift that right leg up to 3-legged dog. Keep the hips square here, and just press that heel up to the ceiling. Keep breathing. Again, we're gonna hold, roll onto the ball of that left foot. We're gonna take that right knee over to the left elbow, and then we're gonna extend that foot out and roll over onto a side plank variation. You can't really see that good, but we're then gonna lift those right foot up, pulsing that foot up. 3, 2, 1. Good, bring it through, 3-legged plank, press up, 3-legged dog, bend the knee, stack the hips. 2 big circles with the knee here. Back to 3-legged dog. And then forward into a high lunge position. Sink lower if it's available. Exhale, hinge. Forward, planting the hands, stepping that foot back, drawing those shoulder blades down the back, belly button in and up, lower down, and press up through cobra. Good, press up through tabletop. Bring those big toes together, knees wider than the hips, child's pose. Nice big exhale out through the mouth. Feel the belly rise against the thighs as you inhale. Inhale, shift the gaze forward, come up onto the hands and knees. We're gonna tuck the toes, sending the hips up, downward facing dog. Good, left toes come up this time. Keeping the hips square to the floor. We're gonna pulse that heel up to the ceiling. Keep pressing the chest towards the upper thigh. Toes are pointing to the floor. We're gonna hold here, rolling onto the ball of that right foot, shifting the weight forward. Left knee, right elbow. And then we're gonna send that foot through, opening up to a side plank variation. Good. From here, we're gonna pulse that left foot up. Three, 2, 1. Bring it back to 3-legged plank. Up to 3-legged dog. Bend the knee and stack the hips. Big circles with the knee 2 times. Good. 3-legged dog, and then bring it through to a high lunge. Engage the core to lift up. Exhale, bring those hands through. Plant the hands, send the left foot back. Draw those shoulder blades down, belly button in and up. Chaturanga, cobra. Press through the hands, tabletop position. Big toes together, knees wider than hips, child's pose. Inhale, shift that weight forward. Bring the knees under the hips, tuck the toes, send the hips up. Good, our right foot's gonna come back up, and we're gonna bring that foot through to a pigeon pose. So our right ankle comes towards that left hip bone as we send the left hip straight back in line with the hip bone. Our hips are squared to the floor and also to the front. If you need to place some support under the hip space, feel free to do so. Creating length through the spine here. Softening the shoulders. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Inhale, lift the gaze. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the left toes and lift the hips up as you bring that leg back up for 3-legged dog. Notice the difference in this 3-legged dog than when we did it before. And slowly bring that foot down. Left foot comes up, and then we're gonna bring it through to pigeon. Take your time to find good alignment here. If this pose is inaccessible, there's all kinds of variations that you can find to do. As you work your way into this pose, go ahead and slowly lower down. Inhale, lift the gaze. Begin to bring those hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the right toes, lift the hips, three-legged dog. And then bring that foot down. Press through the hands, ground through the heels, lift the tailbone nice and high. Roll onto the balls of the feet, shift the weight forward. Come down to the knees and begin to walk the knees up towards the top of the mat as you find your way to your seat. From here, we're going to bring those palms out, nice tall spine, heart lifting up as we lean back. Our shins are gonna come parallel to the floor for a boat pose variation. We're gonna lower down and back up. Two. One, lower all the way down, arms up over the head, pull those heels in towards the glutes, press the glutes up for a bridge variation. Chin stays to the chest here, squeeze the glutes, and then slowly lower all the way down. Extend the arms down to the sides. Good. We're going to press through the soles of the feet, lifting the hips again. Next time, taking a full bridge pose. Reaching for a clasp with the hands underneath the body. Breathe deep through the belly. Release the clasp. Slowly lower the hips down. Hear the pops and cracks. Good. Extend one leg and then the other. The arms can come out to the side, palms facing up. Feel the head relaxing into the floor. Feel the shoulder blades connecting to the floor. Take a breath into the shoulder space. As you exhale, feel them soften into the floor. Send a breath down through the hip space. Feel the expansion through the hips as you breathe in. Exhale, find softness through the hip space. Taking as much time as you like here. You can stop the video, staying here for 5 to 10 minutes if you'd like. When you're ready, you can slowly make your way up. That was our power flow. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Thank you.